Now, to get an idea about how this utility is supposed to work, just a general sense, let's consider a couple of examples of how it might work. So if we think about it, you go out to dinner, you have a very nice meal, you're invited over to somebody's house, very nice meal, good meal, and you say, it's you get a lot of pleasure. It lasts a while, an hour or so, 2 hours. Good conversations, part of the good meal, and you get a bunch of pleasure. So let's say you get about and this, by the way, is arbitrary. I'm just making up numbers, but we're going to see that we can at least make up these numbers relative to each other. So let's say that that's about 10 hedons. You get that? That's 10 units of pleasure. And you can imagine that sitting out on the beach on a sunny summer day, nice day, not too hot, not but you're there all day. It lasts a little longer, a little bit more pleasurable than the eating the good meal. So we're going to say that's about 15 hedons. Now, migraine headaches, I personally don't experience them, but people who do tell me that maybe my numbers here aren't so good. They can be really very extremely painful. But let's say it could be, let's say, between 5 and 10 hedons. I was thinking, excuse me, 5 and 10 dolors of pain. I'm thinking about that because I figured, if you have a migraine headache and you have a really good meal, that could kind of offset all of the pleasure that you get from the meal, or maybe only half of the pleasure. That was kind of the idea of assigning 5 to 10 dolors there. Imagine, a loved one passes on. Losing a loved one, it lasts for a longer period of time. You're upset longer. You might say that could be 100 to 150 dolors, maybe more, maybe less. But just in terms of relative size, relative magnitude, that seems like a reasonable assumption. Now let's see how it works on a larger scale. And in fact, I'm recording this shortly after the government has released all of the, they were supposed to have released all of the documents about the Kennedy assassination. John F. Kennedy was a very popular president. Uh, but think about it. We don't have to worry about Kennedy himself. Maybe you didn't like the guy's politics, so let's keep it out. But let's say a popular political figure is assassinated. And let's say that 1 million people hear about it and they're saddened by it, and each feels about 10 dolors of pain. So with 1 million people, that ends up to be 10 million dolors. Now you have the sick assassin, and let's say he had four conspirators working with him. Thinking of the Kennedy conspiracy theories. So you have the assassin and four others who felt 1,000 hedons of pleasure by carrying out their evil plot. So that gives you 5,000 hedons. So if we're looking at the consequences of the assassination of this political figure, we subtract those dolors from the hedons. We got 10 million minus 5,000. So the overall utility value for that act is going to be 9,995,000. We could go through other examples, but I just wanted you to get a flavor for how utility is supposed to work in these contexts. But now what we have to do is figure out, how do we map this utility to right and wrong actions?